find anything out, let me know. You got it? What happened to your glasses?
Don't look at me. I don't know what to say.
Be careful.
Great. What do I have to be careful of now?
Let's go!
So what's next? Where are you planning on going now?
I don't know.
Okay. Hey, is it cool if I go home now?
You know, Kyon, have you ever realized just how insignificant your existence on this planet really is?
Now what is she talking about?
It happened to me, and I'll never forget it. Back when I was in the 6th grade, my whole family went out to go watch a baseball game at the stadium. I didn't really care about baseball, but I was surprised by what I saw when we got there. Everywhere I looked, I saw people. On the other side of the stadium, the people looked so small, like little moving grains of rice. It was so crowded, I thought that everyone in Japan had to be packed in there. So I turned to my dad and asked him, "Do you know how many people are here right now?" He said since the stadium was full, probably 50,000. After the game, the street was filled with people, and I was really shocked to see that too. To me, it seemed like there was a ton of people there, but then I realized it could only be a tiny fraction of all the people in Japan. When I got home, I pulled out my calculator. In social studies, I'd learned that the population of Japan was 100-some-odd million, so I divided that by 50,000. The answer was 1/2000th. That shocked me even more. I was only one little person in that big crowded stadium filled with people, and believe me, there were so many people there, but it was just a handful of the entire population. Up till then, I always thought that I was, I don't know, kind of a special person. It was fun to be with my family. I had fun with my classmates, and the school that I was going to, it had just about the most interesting people anywhere. But that night, I realized it wasn't true. All the stuff we did during class that I thought was so fun and cool was probably happening just like that in classes in other schools all over Japan. There was nothing special about my school at all. When I realized that, it suddenly felt like the whole world around me started to fade into a dull gray void. Brushing my teeth and going to sleep at night, waking up and eating breakfast in the morning, that stuff happened all over the place. They were everyday things that everybody was doing. When I thought about it like that, everything became boring. If there's really that many people in the world, then there had to be someone who wasn't ordinary. There had to be someone who was living an interesting life. There just had to be. But why wasn't I that person? So, that's how I felt till I finished elementary school. And then I had another realization. I realized fun things wouldn't come my way just by waiting for them. I thought when I got into junior high, it was time for me to make a change. I'd let the world know I wasn't a girl who was happy sitting around waiting. And I've done my best to become that person. But in the end, nothing happened. More time went by, and before I knew it, I was in high school. I thought that something would change.
The passing train gave me a moment to think about my response. Should I voice an opposing viewpoint? Maybe I should wax philosophical about her dilemma. I see. I must be getting melancholic if that's the best I could come up with.
I'm going home.
The truth is, I'd get home faster if I went that way too. But the way Haruhi was walking, well, it was like her back was telling me not to follow her. I had no other choice but to stand there all by myself until I couldn't see Haruhi's back anymore. I wonder what the hell I'm doing.
Hello there. I was thinking that perhaps today I'd make good on that promise I made you. So I've just been hanging around out here until you got home.
You're sounding a little bit like you know where I've been all day. Would you mind explaining that to me?
If it's possible, do you think you might have a little time to spare for me right now?
Is it something to do with Suzumiya?
It's something to do with Miss Suzumiya.
It's pretty amazing that this taxi showed up just when you needed it.
Yeah, weird. So the other day you asked me to show you some proof that I'm an Esper. You still want to see it? That perfect opportunity I was talking about's popped up, so I thought I'd have you join me.
Why do we need to go so far out of town to do this?
We're gonna have to drive a little ways if you want to see my abilities as an Esper. It's timing, really. A certain place, the right conditions. So now we're heading out towards just such a location, and it meets all the requirements in exactly the right ways.
Do you still think that Haruhi's some kind of god or something?
Let me ask you this. Do you know what the anthropic principle is?
Nope, never heard of it.
Okay then, here goes. Basically, this is the theory that the universe is the way it is right now simply because human beings could observe it and determine that it was the way it is. So did you get all that?
I didn't get any of it.
How about I observe, therefore the universe is, or something along those lines. In other words, on this particular world, there are sentient beings that are called humans. Now then, by discovering the laws of physics and constants, human beings can observe the fact that the universe actually exists at all. When that happens, the existence of the universe becomes apparent. Therefore, we can say if the human beings who observed the universe hadn't actually evolved as far as they did, then there wouldn't be any observations, and the universe wouldn't have anyone to acknowledge its existence. So it wouldn't really matter if the universe existed or not. The universe is because human beings know it is. Anyway, that's the reasoning from the human perspective.
You're kidding, right? I mean, with or without humans, the universe is still the universe.
Well, that's also correct. Therefore, the anthropic principle isn't anything more than a speculative theory. However, this theory does bring up an interesting dilemma. Why was the universe created in such a way that human beings could survive in it? It would only take a slight change in the gravitational constant or particle mass ratio for the universe to not allow a planet like the Earth to exist.
Okay, you sound like one of those pamphlets from some kooky religion that's into science and technology.
Actually, I don't really believe that humans were created by a god or some omnipotent being. With all I've seen, something like that doesn't make sense. I say that, but I still have doubts.
About what?
Sometimes I get the feeling that we're all just a bunch of clowns standing on our tiptoes at the edge of a great abyss. No, I'm just kidding.
Look, I don't understand a thing you just said.
The reason I went into the whole anthropic principle thing was to draw a comparison. I haven't even gotten to Miss Suzumiya yet.
And that's another thing. Why are you and Nagato and Miss Asahina all so obsessed with Haruhi?
Well, I can't speak for the others, but I think she's charming. Anyway, let's get back to business. I was wondering if you remember the stuff I once explained to you about how the world may have in fact been created by Miss Suzumiya.
Although it's annoying as hell, yeah, I do remember you saying that.
She has the power to turn anything she wishes for into a reality.
Oh, come on, you can't seriously believe that's true.
Miss Suzumiya